Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Friday Charge from the EV Geek Podcast. We are your hosts, Joel and Sebastian, as always, and today, August 15th, 2025, we've got a handful of topics to talk about. We're going to talk about Ford's big news. We're going to have a little discussion about EA. Rivian's got some new stuff they're doing, and somebody's buying a new car. So without further ado, let's plug in and get started. All right, our first topic of the night. Ford has revealed their new secret sauce. Ford this week has finally revealed their, quote, Model T moment. And it was a bit of a doozy, so let's dive in. This new Model T isn't actually a car or one car, but actually it's a whole platform. Ford has named it quite creatively the Ford Universal EV platform. That just rolls right off the tongue, you know. It's
Yep.
Sorry.
Or FUEP. FUEP. Yes, that doesn't roll off the tongue either.
Anyway, but this is going to enable the production of a whole family of affordable electric vehicles. The first planned model on this platform is a mid-size, four-door electric truck assembled at Ford's Louisville, Kentucky plant, with an expected starting price of around $30,000. Does this sound familiar to you?
Like a year ago?
We'll talk more. Anyway, Ford is planning to use LFP cells for this vehicle and for the others on this platform. And the cells are going to be produced by them, not imported from another source. This was expected. You know, we've known that they've been building this factory to build LFP cells with tech license from CATL. Is that the one? Anyway,
no, you're right.
This isn't that surprising to me.
Yeah.
Moving on. Ford also expects the new platform to come with a host of technological advances and manufacturing efficiency. And one of the examples they gave was that the wire harness for this new midsize truck has around 4,000 feet less copper in it compared to a typical vehicle in that size class. And for added kind of simplification too, it's going to be a skateboard platform. So we've seen other manufacturers do this. Ford's going to be doing it too, so they can kind of take the wheelbase of the battery pack, the floor of the car, and just shove it under a bunch of different models. Ford is expecting the first of the midsize trucks to roll off the line in 2027, with deliveries taking place sometime after that. So yeah, this is cool. Kudos to Ford. We're finally getting some new development out of them. Of course, it's still going to be another 2 years before we maybe see a vehicle come from this, but I also can see this feels a lot like kind of marketing smoke, and we'll see what actually happens. You know, expected starting price of around $30,000. That's what everyone says right now.
Mm-hmm.
And Ford has it in their history of saying a car is going to start at a much lower price, and then the car comes out and it didn't start at that lower price. You know, Lightnings initially were supposed to be $35,000, and sure, there were some people who got them at $35,000. Not many. And
we've seen the first 5 days, maybe.
Yeah, and we've seen this. You know, the Silverado was going to start at $35,000. Like, everyone is marking these super low prices, and then whenever rubber hits the road, it doesn't seem to work out. I'm hopeful this does.
Yeah, but what I don't understand is they're marketing a four-door electric pickup that's going to have more passenger space than a RAV4. That's an odd comparison from a mid-size pickup saying it's going to have more size than a RAV4.
That makes sense to me. You know, mid-size pickup. So mid-size would be like your Tacoma, your Frontier, your Canyon, Colorado, that type deal. Which the cab on those would be comparable to like an Escape or a RAV4.
So you're thinking like Maverick size or smaller?
I'm thinking it Ranger sized.
So bigger than, yeah. Well, then why don't they just say as compared to a Ranger instead of as compared to a RAV4?
I guess because they just maybe don't want people to make a comparison and have an expectation. Because in reality, it might end up being somewhere between Maverick and RAV4.
Yep.
Or not RAV4, Ranger. You know, and if they come out and said, oh, it's going to be with the same interior capacity as a Ranger, then everyone might get in their head, oh, it's going to be an electric Ranger. Well, maybe that's not the point. I don't know. Anyway, this is cool. I'm happy to see Ford. You know, I'm happy to see the work of the Skunk Works team that Ford has been kind of talking about in hush-hush tones for the last couple of years. I'm excited to see maybe this get closer. I'm a little disappointed that we didn't get at least a sneak peek of a vehicle.
Yep.
especially if they're going
even AI rendering or something of a vehicle.
Especially if they're going to be building and starting production in 2 years. Mm-hmm. You know, I could have given us something, a teaser. Show us the headlights. You know, just like where is that
a back end or something? I mean, like
where is that
your
old
marketing
school
guys could have came up with it.
Yeah, where is that old school concept car? Like, anyway, but yeah, I'm hopeful. This is good. I'm excited to see LFP cells. I think those are going to play a huge role in the upcoming EV, a lot of the upcoming EV models, and I'm excited to see that 4 degrees. And so yeah, moving on.
I believe they're doing I believe they're doing the casting similar to Tesla, right? The unicasting. I think they're calling it
so that's part of their whole manufacturing simplicity thing. Doing a skateboard platform, doing more kind of big casting for body pieces, et cetera, to make it more ergonomic to put together and less tedious.
Yep.
Moving on, this is more of a discussion, less than a news topic. Electrify America is building big sites. So Electrify America has opened a new site in Santa Monica, California, featuring 20 stalls, each capable of 350 kilowatts. Although I'm assuming these are going to be the EA new balanced power things where they do power sharing. This isn't that big of a deal. I mean, how many stalls has Tesla opened? I mean, what is a 70 stall Tesla supercharger is not that uncommon. Like, there's not a ton of them.
Yep.
But 20 is a pretty normal number. Anyway,
especially for California.
But I am hopeful that this means maybe EA is going to finally be moving towards just putting in larger sites versus putting 4 dispensers in the back of a Walmart parking lot and calling it done.
With parking lots like that are 4 feet wide.
Yeah. Although I say that, we in Arkansas have one of the oldest and largest EA sites that uses ABB dispensers.
And where's that at, Sebastian?
In Little Rock.
Yep.
Little Rock has 8 stalls. And there's like never anybody there.
Nope. Because it's in the back of a Walmart parking lot.
Walmart parking lot that people don't like to go to. Yes. Anyway, moving on. Yeah. But yeah, I just always thought that was interesting that, we keep seeing 4 stalls here, 4 stalls there. Everyone's always complained about it. Then we have one site here in Arkansas that is 8 stalls and has been for 5 years or longer. Honestly, I'm not 100% certain. EA has seen immense growth over the last year. They've had growth of, they claim, up to 65% year over year in amount of energy dispensed and charging sessions started. And to me, honestly, it does seem like things are looking up. This is purely anecdotal, but I have had much better luck at EA recently, at least the handful of sites that I tend to visit. And some of those sites, as you know, because you've driven those routes, some of those sites have been rough.
Yeah, they've been rough, and those stations are like, I don't think we have any newer stations in Arkansas. I mean, I've been driving an EV for 4 years, and I think that's probably the newest EA station is probably 4 years old. And they're rough. I mean, especially the ones along Interstate 40, those are rough. I mean,
but the last couple times I've been to Clarksville and Forest City specifically, it's been fine. No issues.
We're not seeing posts on social media on X saying EA's down, EA's down, EA's down, EA's down like we did before. So I'm glad they've kind of taken, we talked about this in another podcast, but they've kind of taken this last 12, 18 months to kind of work on reliability and making sure their old chargers can stay up and running, because they're not really building out the network with fidelity like Tesla or Iona or these other people are doing. So yeah.
And some of this too, I think, is they just have to, right?
Yep.
They're not the only high power DC fast charge player in the game anymore. Yes, EV Go has been around for a long time, but this EV Go building 350 kilowatt stations in partnership with Pilot Flying J is a semi new concept, or Iona is a new concept. Tesla being open to everybody is a new concept. Like, EA finally has real competition in the high power charging space. And I kind of feel like that has forced them to maybe get some of their stuff together and actually figure out how to do a good, reliable, consistent charging experience.
So yeah, I'm not seeing in this article from State of Charge that we're showing on the screen, are these CCS or NACS?
Believe they're CCS.
Yes, because it still says among, however, the challenges, we must note the necessity to switch a high number of chargers from CCS to NACS, SAE J3400 in the coming year. So that's going to be their big push, is to get all those switched over. But from what I'm thinking here, these look like, I can't tell really, but they look like
CCS.
So,
and I mean, and it's of note too, EA is trying some new stuff. You know, they have that new site they just opened in Florida that's using Alpitronic Hypercharger 400s.
Mm-hmm.
So different hardware. They're not using the kind of self-designed BTC power source units that are designed for EA, but they're using these Alpitronics, which also, for the first time ever at an EA station, allowed 2 cars to charge at the same time from one dispenser.
Oh, cool.
That has always been the part that has baffled me, especially about the Signet and the ABB units, is, you know, each dispenser has 2 cables.
But you can't use them at the same time.
And I feel like that is not intuitive to new EV owners or people who don't DC fast charge often, etc. Because when you roll up to a site and you see, oh, there's 4 cars charging, but there's also still 4 cables available, like that look like they're available, you can't charge on them though.
Yeah, it'd be like pulling up to a gas station and you using the front pump and someone pulling in and not being able to use the back pump.
Right.
That's kind of like the sense it makes.
Which, I mean, logically, I can understand, though, from the, you know, it also makes it maybe sense if you look at the gas pump analogy, because sometimes you pull up to a pump that has more than one on the same side.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't pump diesel, or maybe you can. And I don't know. I've never done it.
We haven't pumped gas in what? Well, I haven't pumped gas in several years.
It's like, you know, when you roll up to the pump that has the gas pump and the diesel pump, and as far as I know, you can't pump gas and diesel at the same time from the same dispenser. Maybe I'm wrong. I've never owned a diesel.
Yeah. I'm assuming you can't, because it's only going to be able to handle one credit card transaction at a time.
Right. But yeah, anyway, that's always been one of the things that's baffled me a little bit, especially for new EV owners, and especially too, as we start seeing these other units, these Alpitronic units, the Delta units that GM, Pilot, Flying J, EV Go are using, ChargePoint Express Plus units, etc. These other units that have 2 cables and allow 2 vehicles to charge at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on. Rivian is working on some big new features. I don't have a ton of notes on this. I'm just excited. So Rivian this week has posted 2 new job listings, and it sounds like they're working on some pretty big, cool features. The first posting is for a steering engineer, and the listing specifically mentions work on developing a steer-by-wire system. Steer-by-wire is one of those techs that's been talked about for years, but only implemented by a handful, perhaps most notably the Tesla Cybertruck. And in another job posting, Rivian hints at hiring someone who would be responsible for and take ownership of developing a rear-wheel steering system, which is a feature that I adore, and I cannot wait to see added to Rivian's lineup, and I hope someone figures this out and adds it soon, because rear-wheel steering is amazing, and I love it. Just, yeah, that's the one that steer-by-wire is cool and all that.
Makes parking a whole lot easier.
Steer-by-wire and all that is cool, like whatever. I like the, you know, I do appreciate how the Cybertruck is using steer-by-wire. You never turn the wheel more than this.
Yep.
But at the same time, it's one of those things I could live without it. Rear-wheel steering is one of those things that is such a big quality of life improvement, especially when you're talking about larger vehicles like the R1 or the R1T and things like that. Like, especially on those vehicles too, if they're supposed to have kind of that off-roady-esque ethos to them, you know, having rear-wheel steer enabling you to make tighter turns and stuff like that is awesome. And all the vehicles I've ever driven with rear-wheel steer, it has been an amazing blessing.
Yeah, it takes some getting used to, because you do feel like you're fishtailing, and we've said that a lot of our reviews, like driving the Hummer or driving the Silverado with those rear-wheel turns. When you pull out, it feels like you're fishtailing out. But I'm like, but it's not. It's that rear-wheel steering. So, yeah, I'm liking this. So according to this article here on CarScripts, it looks like the R1T and R1S may not receive this new tech because they're just got kind of refreshed. So maybe this is tech for R2, R3. Not sure. So
we'll see.
Yep.
Nonetheless, I'm excited. Anyway.
Yep. Me too.
Moving on. NEVI is back. Kind of. Maybe. Sort of.
Ish.
So this week, the U.S. Department of Transportation issued new revised guidance for the NEVI program, giving states a path to begin applying for and receiving funds again. That sounds good. The U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy stated, "Our revised NEVI guidance slashes red tape and makes it easier for states to efficiently build out this infrastructure." He also said in the same kind of breath that he doesn't like seeing incentives for green energy and blah, 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 but we'll do this because it's what Congress willed. Don't like the tone of that, considering the United States gives tons of money for oil production and other things. It's like energy is energy.
Yep.
Anyway,
why does it matter where it comes from?
Yep. Moving on. It's like if you're not. Anyway. Okay. Yeah. Anyway. The new framework removes requirements for consumer protections, emergency evacuation plans, and environmental siting, among some other items. This also removes mentions of disadvantaged communities and no longer requires a strategy for extreme weather.
So you can put crappy chargers in Alaska,
I guess.
Yes. You can put some of those ABB units up in Alaska.
States are now allowed to choose the spacing of the sites as well. Under previous guidance, stations had to be no further than 50 miles apart in order for a highway to be considered built out, which the built out requirement was what was needed for you to be able to use NEVI funds on non-primary highways. So that's if you wanted to build them on secondary highways or whatever, the first highway had to be built out. Now that requirement's not there, so I guess it's up to the states to determine when a highway is built out. Anyway, this all sounds like maybe a good thing. Like, hey, the funding's maybe coming back out. It's going to be there. Good. I just can't help but feel like some of the momentum is lost.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, there was a lot of red tape with the initial NEVI funding, and it was a lot of hoops that states had to jump through, which it did drag out the process forever. I mean, we don't have any NEVI sites open here in Arkansas. I think we hadn't even got to stage 2 yet. I think in Arkansas, we were still at stage 1 in the planning, or they just awarded the sites when all this kind of dropped off. But yeah, I'm curious if some states will jump on this more than other states. Will more blue states hop on this than more red states? I don't know. I mean, what happens to some of those sites that were already awarded? That do they now have to go through the process again? I would assume so.
I mean, at this point, any quote given 6 months ago isn't worth anything now.
Yeah.
I mean, pricing has changed, hardware's changed, like everything is different now. So I think all of these sites, if they were canned because of the initial phase out, I think you would have to rebid all of them.
Yep.
You would have to take RFPs again. You would have to go through more red tape to get more bids.
Yep.
Than you would have if you
work with local municipalities, find locations. And
it's like, I feel like if this was the goal all along, which it wasn't. I mean, let's be real here. This is only happening because they were getting sued by multiple states, and I imagine the U.S. government realized they didn't have a case.
They were going to lose.
They were going to lose, and so now they have to act like they invented this idea. Not to get too crazy with it, but come on, if it stinks like it and smells like it,
it probably isn't.
Anyway, but yeah, I just can't help but feel like it's like, if this was your plan all along, which it wasn't, they could have removed some of this stuff without ever actually shutting down the funding.
Yeah.
And that would have allowed the process to continue moving. We wouldn't have lost all of these bids and et cetera. Like, now you have to start over from square one. And I wouldn't blame any CPO for being skittish to try again.
Yep.
Because putting together a package like this and, making plans and site plans and all this stuff, and like, I'm going to do this many units, we're going to get utility power, we're going to start moving through emotions, and there's no funding.
Yep.
All that work you just did was for nothing. All those people you hired, all the whatever, sorry.
Yep.
Tough luck. Try again next time. Like, I personally would be skittish to bid out on another RFP for a NEVI site. Because if it's going to be so up in the air, and this is ultimately your livelihood you're talking about.
Unless you're a small startup trying to, like you're a Francis Energy trying to compete with the big boys, maybe this is your time to get in there. So,
I mean, really, I actually think it's the opposite. I think the big boys are the only ones who will be able to do it because they're the only ones who can afford to lose out.
Yeah.
A company like Tesla, if they lose one site, whoop-de-doo, right?
Yeah.
Or Electrify America or anyone else. It's like, oh, boom, whatever. But your smaller players or people who are trying to break into the CPO space, I think will be more likely to not do this just because they they can't afford to lose type situation.
I totally I didn't think about it that way, but you're totally right.
I'm happy that maybe this path will be here. I'm very interested to see if Arkansas tries to participate again. I got the impression that Arkansas did not want to participate in the first place.
Yeah, they were kind of told to, and that's probably why they dragged their feet.
And that's why they dragged their feet so long. And then it was like, oh, look, there's no funding. And rather than try to fight or anything, they just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
They immediately threw the towel in. There was no back and forth on it. There was none of that. So we'll see if Arkansas tries to pick this back up again. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, we are getting some new stations coming on here. I mean, mostly Tesla stations. I think, we got.
But they're not NEVI. They're just
not NEVI. Yeah, I mean, and I think one was supposed to be NEVI, and they just built it. I think the one at Alma was supposed to be NEVI, and they just built it.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they're like, screw it, we're just gonna build it anyway. So
yeah.
So I mean, yep. So I mean, we'll have 2 new stations come online here real quick in Arkansas on I-40, which is kind of needed. So I'm excited about that. And then eventually we'll have the station down at Buc-ee's in your neck of the woods come on. And I'm sure there'll be other players at that station too besides Tesla. I'm sure there may be BMW and some other people there too as well.
Or Mercedes, yeah.
Or Mercedes. I'm sorry, Mercedes. Yeah. Who else is at Buc-ee's? Mercedes usually.
It's usually
Tesla.
Mercedes and Tesla.
Okay, I was thinking there was a third one. Maybe not. So it's late.
All right. Our last topic of the night. Somebody in this room is selling their car.
And that would be me. It would be me.
So, Joel, you're selling your Tesla.
Yes.
We're not going to say what you're buying yet.
Nope.
You'll have to stay tuned for that on Monday.
Yep.
We will talk about it on Monday. We will reveal it on Monday. I promise.
10 a.m. Monday, the reveal.
God willing.
It will come out. Everything you need to know. Monday, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time.
But, Joel, I've got to ask. Why?
Let's see. I hate Elon. No, it's not because I hate Elon. So, I mean, let's be real. It's a 2020 Model Y. So 5 years old, approaching 100,000 miles. And we just thought this was now the good time to get out of it and see what we could get for it. So, we are, well, not to be confused, we're going to lease, doing a 3-year lease. And we got a good deal on a lease. So yeah, it was just time for a switch. I have nothing against Tesla. Love the tech, great car. Love the FSD. I'm going to miss that. That's probably what I'm going to miss the most is the full self-driving. But it doesn't ride that well. And, yeah, it's just time for something new, something fresh. So, and I've owned 2 EVs personally for myself, and they've both been Teslas. So I think it's just time for something new. So spoiler, it won't be a Tesla. I will tell you that. So yeah, it's just time for something new, something fresh, something different. Make some new content on. I pretty much maxed out the content on my Tesla with modifications and everything you could possibly put on a Tesla. Sebastian is so happy about that. There's this one content Sebastian hates doing. Is
Joel
installs.
said yes to a bunch of random crap for his car, and now we have to
guess what? I got new taillights. Let's put them on. He's like, oh. So yeah, he's not a big fan of those. So yeah,
I like it. I like modifying your modifications for vehicles. I like car accessories or whatever, but at some point I'm just
looks like a Supra.
And at some point I'm just tired of being like, yep, here is a cheap Chinese table tray or something, like whatever. It's just like, if you're in the market for that, if that's something you want, that's fine. I perfectly respect that. Everyone is allowed to have their own taste. I don't know. It doesn't titillate me. So in my opinion, it's not. And if I can't get behind something, then I don't feel like the audience can get behind it, right?
Yeah. No more floor mats videos, no more spoilers.
Or at least for now.
For now. I mean, we'll see what kind of accessories this new EV has. So yeah.
But yeah, hey, you're going to miss FSD. It will be really interesting for you as someone who has FSD, although it is on a Hardware 3 car. So, I mean,
yep.
It'll be interesting to really hear your comparison as you live with the car with these other driver's assistance features, like systems.
Yep.
And how it truly compares to.
And I will be honest, I was not a big user of FSD. I'm not the person that gets in my car every day and turns on FSD. No, I use it for long trips. Or like this morning, going to work, there was a wreck. It was stop and go traffic for about 8 to 10 minutes. Put on FSD. I don't have to worry about it. You know, just that's the kind of stuff I like it for, and long trips. But I don't get in my car and as soon as I leave the parking lot, boom, turn it on until I get home. No, that's not me. Honestly, I have ADHD and I forget to do it. That's the reason why I don't use FSD. So I mean, if you want to be honest, that's I just forget to use it. I mean, but I am gonna miss the tech. Probably won't miss the drive quality because I think every other car we reviewed had a
There's not a lot of cars out there with a worse suspension than a 2020 Model Y on the big wheels.
No, the Model Y, the big wheels that are expensive to replace. And I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to getting something new for our family and having some fun with it and making some fun content around it. And yep.
Yeah.
Next up will be you. You'll need to get one here soon too.
We'll see. I'm gonna need you to start paying me more.
Yes, I'll start paying you in money instead of beans that are not growing anywhere. I planted them; they're not growing. I'm sorry, I can't help.
I'm just kidding. Joel does pay me. Okay, yes. This is my fault entirely.
Yes, but he does all the accounting, so he could be paying himself. So I don't know. I don't see any of the money. It's just like my house. He could be paying himself. I have no clue.
Joel, are you sad that you don't have any control of the money? You can do it.
So no, because I don't control the money in my house. My wife has said that 100 times. You want to control the money? No. But if you come, but if like January comes by and you're driving a new, Escalade IQ, I'm going to start asking some questions. So I'll be like,
I must say, don't worry about it.
We're both in education. Don't know how we could afford an Escalade IQ. So
listen, it was obviously paid for by our sponsor, EV Base.
or Honcho. So you know how many wheel covers we had to sell to get that and spoilers to get that IQ.
At least 4, right?
Yep, at least 4. So yep.
All right. I'm trying to think anything else before we wrap up.
No, we released a video this week on the Wolfbox EV charger. I don't know if we talked about that last week or not. So that's out today. That was out this week too as well. Solid charger. I mean, I haven't had any problems with it. I do go out with my little temperature gun and double check temperatures, everything. It's fine. Actually runs about a degree cooler than my Tesla wall connector. So I've been kind of comparing the two. Ooh. It's that 9-foot cable that's wrapped around.
It's that gigantic cable. Yeah.
Cable. But besides that, I mean, it's been fine. Some quirkiness with the app, but besides that, it's just the app works. It's just weirdly designed. So I mean, but for the purpose, it works, and it charges my wife's Kia. So basically, I don't really need the app. I can do all the charging stuff from my wife's Kia, but we don't do scheduled charge or anything like that because she doesn't drive that much. We just plug it in and charge it, and we'll just pull from the solar when she gets home because that's the side of the house that the sun hits. So I mean, I've not had a chance to go in there and play with the settings or anything like that. But there's some more stuff you can do. I don't need to do it, so I haven't.
Yeah, I mean, for me, a charger is one of those things. You set it up that first time, you get it how you want it, and then you don't really need the app anymore.
But your charger, your imported EVSE charger is pretty dope, though. You can do some really cool.
I can do some really cool stuff, but even then, though, like the power smart features and all that, it's a kind of, you set it up that one time, and then you don't really go in and mess with it anymore.
Yeah.
Like I can open mine up, and I can, if I'm curious, I can look at my energy load and all that, and it gives me little status. It gives me little monthly summaries and tells me if my house is using above a certain threshold of energy, which is cool. Love that.
Now, will it balance it out too? If you're using too much energy, we'll cut down too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what.
So if I'm charging my car and I get above whatever I have my threshold set to, it will automatically throttle the car down to pull the house load back under that amount.
How much does it step down? Does it step down does it go from 32?
Well, to be quite honest with you,
you don't know.
I've only had it happen once, and it was on purpose.
Oh, you did. You went around, turned everything on, didn't you?
Yeah, because I was trying to sit. I was like, okay, does this work? So I was like, turned on the oven. I turned on the dryer. I had the dishwasher running. I turned the AC on.
He had the box he had the box going from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. It was just spinning. So,
but I mean, it did dip down power. It did it within like 10 seconds of hitting that magical number. So,
do you set the magical number, or is it preset in the app?
So you tell it your breaker size. So whatever your main panel size is, and then you can go in and you can kind of set a threshold ish. Really, it throttles down once you hit your breaker limit. But I have mine set to alert me once I'm within 80%, because that kind of gives me a mental like, okay, this might happen. But I've never even had the 80% happen.
Yep. And I'm sure go on. Sorry.
It's like, and I mean, I don't have a 200 amp service. I have a 100 amp service, and it's just not been an issue. Part of it, my car only has a 32 amp onboard charger. It's not like I'm pulling 48 amps from it constantly. So I am pulling, 12 amp 16 amps less. But also we have gas heat. We have, we do have electric stove. We have electric AC.
Hot water heaters, gas.
Hot water heaters, gas. Yeah.
Most people in the South, it's hot water heater, gas, and heat. So,
yeah. So, I mean, really, I don't have that many high load appliances that would be running all at the same time anyway.
Yep. And if you're curious about his charger, this is a spoiler alert. I'm sure Sebastian will mention this in the outro. We have an interview coming up with the founder of Emporia next week, and he highlights that product for, people like you. And I mentioned that people like you who are in older houses with older boxes and don't want to spend $5,000 to update their box.
Yeah.
So it's
it's a great charger. I love it.
Great charger.
And I mean, I love having the data available to me if I want it. Just because I don't go in there and look at it all the time doesn't mean I don't like having it. And they've updated the app some. It looks better than it did when I bought it. They've updated the visuals on it. They've made it a little nicer just to use and laid out a little bit better. Like they've actively improved on it, which is excellent, which is great.
And that's what you want to see, that whole home management. And I think that's the way EV charging is going to go in the next 10 years, is this whole home EV management where we're storing energy. And then if someone needs it, we're giving it to them and our neighbors, or we're keeping it all, whatever we want to do. It's our choice what we want to do with it. And I think that's what, from after my interview with Sean from Emporia, I think that's their vision too, of what they see the future of EV charging and how vehicle to load works and vehicle to grid works. It's about managing the energy you have in your home and what you want to do with it. So yeah, it's a great interview. We talked for 30 minutes. Great guy, great team over there in Emporia. So look forward to that. That comes out on Wednesday.
Cool. Yep. All right. Well, that is a wrap for today's episode. Thank you all for plugging into the Friday Charge. Be sure to subscribe to EV Geek Podcast on YouTube and tap that notification icon to be notified about new releases. Next week, as we already mentioned, we are going to be releasing Monday the reveal of Mr. Joel's new car. Sorry, I don't know why I just called you Mr. Joel. That's what my daughter calls you, and it just came out.
Respect your authority.
And as Joel mentioned, he's going to be releasing the interview he did with the founder, right? CEO, founder, both?
Founder.
Okay. Of Emporia Energy.
That's what it said on LinkedIn, founder. So.
Yep. Of Emporia Energy. I had to miss that one. I couldn't squeeze it into my schedule, unfortunately, because I would have loved to participate. So I'm just as excited as you all to watch it when it comes out.
But he gave me questions to ask, so
I did give you some questions to ask.
Yes.
If you guys have any thoughts or questions, be sure to drop them in the comments below, because we would love to hear from you. So long, everyone, and we will see you on the next episode of The Friday Charge.